There are a lot of old cemeteries near my home in Savannah, Georgia. It's an old city compared to most cities in the United States, so that's to be expected. They say the city's haunted, but that's another story. When I'm walking through an old cemetery, a lot of questions come to my mind, like, who are all these dead people? Or, who were they? Some of the headstones are so cracked, beat up, and worn away that it's anybody's guess. Some of the graves don't even have headstones anymore. They just crumbled away. One thing I always notice in old cemeteries is that no one brings flowers, because these people don't really get visitors, except for tourists. No one even remembers who most of these people were, or that they ever even existed. They are no longer even a memory. That puts some things in perspective. But what is memory? How do we remember, and why? Who will remember us after everyone who ever cared about us goes away? What happens to all those photo albums in the closet or the attic? What exactly are we remembering when we look at them? What will other people think who don't even know us at all when they look at them? Does it even matter if we are remembered? Best to let the philosophers chew on that question. But I was curious, so I hopped a flight to the windy city of Chicago to talk to a collector who, by the very nature of his obsession, collecting objects, spends a lot of time tracing through other people's faded memories. And I was equally fascinated by what constituted recorded memory way back then, and how we relate to it now.
It's almost like a full-time job. I spend all my time collecting shit. It's a responsibility to acquire objects. Hi, my name is Anthony Vizzari. I reside in Chicago, Illinois. I'm an architect for a firm in Oakland.
I'm Andrea Worster, Anthony's personal assistant and best buddy, roommate, life partner.
This is a circa 1845, 1850. The Garrett process was invented in 1839 in Paris, but it didn't really come around, especially in the States, until 1840, like 1840, 1841. So the latest this would probably have been shot was maybe about 1850. You can see that it's a highly polished piece of copper with an emulsion on top, and there'd be one exposure per plate. It's pretty expensive at the time, so that's one of a kind. There's only one. It's nice because it's set in a nice field of stars, die cut stars or die pressed, which it's actually pretty unique. You usually don't see that. You usually see floral relief or something else, but this is a die cut, kind of patriotic in a weird way.
How long have you been collecting pictures of dead people?
Since I was 16, so about 10 years now. Started in Maine on just on a whim. Stopped at a flea market. I used to go register all my vehicles in Maine because they wouldn't pass inspection in the state where I lived, in Connecticut. So I would drive up to Maine and have them registered there. One time I went up there with a friend of mine. I was still under 18, she had to sign the paperwork for me because she was older. And we stopped at a flea market on the way. Bought my first box of cabinet cards for $30, which is a steal nowadays. You can't even touch them for that. $30. I bought a huge box of old cabinet photographs, found a few mourning photos in there, and it just kind of started from there. Never stopped collecting them. Now I buy about, I'd say at least 10 a week. So
How many do you have now?
mourning photographs of dead people, I'd say at least 500, 550. Images overall, I stopped counting. It's probably way over 100,000 now. They're all stocked up. I've got a few around the house. I've got crates. All the crates are full. I've got a bunch of these trunks. They're all full of jam-packed with negatives, and prints are all stashed away. So that's kind of where I keep them. And that's what I do. But they're not so bad.
Yeah, negative there.
This is nice.
All that
Information. This is print. Yeah, it's interesting now that I'm thinking about that. My father tells me this story, and I think this is maybe another reason why I'm interested in the mourning photography stuff or funeral photography. My father was telling me that when his father died, they didn't have a proper parlor or funeral home exhibit. They just didn't have it. They didn't have the money. So his earliest memory as a child is seeing his father laid out on the kitchen table when he's dead, just laid out. And I think it's pretty poignant. I mean, if you look at some of the photos that are in the collection, you see a lot of that. They don't have they still want to pay respect, but it was done differently. It was attached to the home, closer to your surroundings. You don't have a funeral home. It's there. Death is right there in the house with you. It's the same place you eat. When you're eating one morning or one night, you're laying out for your family to view your body the next day. And I think that's the ritual I guess I'm trying to investigate and tap into in the Museum of Mourning Photography and researching a lot of these images. What is it? What is that last photo? What is the final image that you get? I mean, this is just. I mean, this was taken. They would have a casket here. You can see this. So they had a little bit of money. They were able to afford a casket and some flowers, and a photographer to take the picture because the picture's not cheap. Back especially this time, this might have been anywhere between 1890 to 1905. This wouldn't have been any later than 1905. It's probably right on the cusp, 1900. And this would have been taken in their house. It's not a funeral parlor, but you can even see, the light bulb hanging down, the dirty, very dirty wallpaper, and it's, it touches on, it touches on what it is that their world for that moment. That's the last photo. This is their last group family photo together. And and these people are all dead now too, but it's not so much about death as much as it's about how we remember things and how we look at. I guess it's about change and culture and how we. I don't know. I guess when I see it, I see a lot of things.
So, what do you think about Anthony's Museum of Mourning Photography and his interest in this type of collection?
Well, I think it's
When you first got hip to it, what did you think?
when I first got hip to it, I thought it was just really sad. I'm a pretty emotional person, and the first time I saw the photos, it just made me horribly sad. And I think that most people nowadays don't take pictures like that because they like to remember people as they were while they were alive and not just the shell of who they are after they die. But through getting to know Anthony and his philosophy on this, I've really gained more of an appreciation for it. And I'm really happy that Anthony has such a passion for this weird and creepy activity.
Creepy, huh?
Creepy, yes, it's creepy.
Do your friends know about it?
Yeah.
What do they think?
Some of them said, get away from this guy as fast as you can, because he's probably Jeffrey Dahmer, and he's going to have, your head all severed in the freezer before you know it.
Oh, come on.
I've heard that. I have. But most of the people that didn't know you, just people like coworkers or whatever. But, my other friends, my close friends find it really interesting and think it's cool, and, we all get a kick out of it. And, Anthony's, one of his professors at Berkeley once said that he was the weirdest guy he's ever met in his entire life. I think that's what makes Anthony so interesting, and, I probably wouldn't have been with him for the past 5 years if I didn't find him so interesting. So, things that are strange and unusual are a big plus for me. Like Anthony.
It's true. I never thought about it. Like, I'm a collector. I collect shit. I guess I'm a collector. It's funny.
This is a cover tried to sell on eBay.
Here on Michigan. We should go check it out. Actually, we should go knock on this woman's door. Officials are trying to track down the origins of a mummified human skeleton that a Michigan woman tried to sell on eBay. I would have been on it too if I'd known. Where were they on eBay? How can they think that you could sell that? Does it really break the? Is there a rule that says you can't sell human remains?
Yes, it says it violated an eBay policy prohibiting the sale of human remains.
Shit, why can't you sell human remains? You can sell everything else. What's wrong with that? You could buy I don't know. You could buy what can you buy?
Can you buy animal remains then?
I'm sure you can buy animal remains.
Yes, what can you buy human?
You get fried chicken, that's animal remains.
Who tried to buy it? You're jealous because you didn't get
You
it.
tell us.
No, I wouldn't buy it. The reality was I wouldn't buy it, but I think it's interesting that there's a guy named Satan's Child put a bid on it for $500.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're a collector too. You collect all sorts of.
I could love different things.
I just saw you had a whole garage full of
License plates.
license plates. How much do you think you've spent on this?
Oh, easily on my collection? Well, I know that Citibank told me since 2000, I used my credit card for a lot of different things and it's been paid off. I've paid off $80,000 in credit card debt since 2000. So I don't know. I mean, I spent a lot of money on it, but.
No, it's always like, I did something bad. Like, how much? How much did you spend on a dead person today? And, they're not cheap, these dead people. They're really not. They've got price tags anywhere from $10 to $300, $400. And, it's just a crusty old thing that nobody else wants. But, most people aren't interested in dead people. But Anthony is. And, it's important to him. And, most people, I think, put their money where, to what's important to them. And with Anthony, he's definitely shown that mourning photography is important to him. The money he spends on it. But I'm very supportive. I really am.
These are just the funeral flower arrangements, which are some of my favorites, actually. Well, I'll superimpose. I'll take all the photographs that were in part of the wake or funeral. People, families would send in, they'd arrange them all and photograph them. And oftentimes they would superimpose a picture of the deceased right on top. And these are, I think, are some of the more artful photographs. Like I'm saying, you don't have to see a dead body to get the idea. It just has to. Has to show, I guess, the memorial aspect of it in some light, and that's kind of what draws me to it. And all these things have these symbols, you know, there's symbols. There's a ship's wheel. Oftentimes you see there's the dove, which is peace, you know, at peace. Oftentimes you see at rest, or you'll see writings that say gone but not forgotten, and there's common themes that develop in a lot of this imagery.
This is a dumpster diving find of the century. Found at a prop warehouse in Chicago, Illinois, underneath the L. Why it always counts when you look in the trash.
Sometimes they're straightforward. They're just straightforward documents. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. That's Nazis. Lifting a casket into a train. Like, this is just a fucking crazy image.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
It's just weird. Even I'll say that's weird. People think it's weird to collect this, so that's just a weird shot. But
yeah, what is your take on people talk? You know, when you tell them what to do?
All the time. At this point, I guess, especially at work, you know, people are weird about it. But at this point, I guess I just blow it off now because I'm so used to people being like, "What do you mean?" And you're trying to explain it, and they don't get it. You say, "Well, why do you collect pictures of dead people?" So, well, they're not really collecting pictures of dead people. I'm collecting pictures of memory. I mean, it's definitely collecting people's memories. It's not just that too. It's also, I said, because they're documents. It's a cultural document. It's a ritual document. So, as a collector, you know, you're also an anthropologist, and so you're trying to figure out, and especially as a photographer and someone who's interested in history and history of photography, you look at these things as a piece of that history, not just a picture of a dead person. So I kind of get upset when people are like, "Oh, well, you're just collecting photographs of dead people." And it's more than that. It's finding the shot, the image that really nails that moment or nails that piece of history. Photography is pretty powerful because it's a medium that I think really captures the essence of the moment. It is real, and I feel for such a, you know, photography has such a huge impact on the world around us. We don't even realize it, and now we're so used to getting things on film, whether it's a congressman taking a bribe or whether it's some hot model on a billboard. We're used to seeing images, but which I think it's an interesting thing to think about. But we've also lost our ability, through being inundated with all this imagery. We've lost our ability to see, and I think that's one of the reasons why this tradition has kind of died off. We see so much death and everything else on the TV screens and maybe in movies that maybe we don't need this anymore. Maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's a cultural change in general. But I like to think that this custom in photography, as well as the ritual custom in America and other European countries, and I'm sure throughout the world. What do I think when people think about it? I don't care anymore. Fuck them. I try to explain it, you know, but it's only some people are going to get it and some people aren't going to get it. And it takes the person, you know, it's like anything. You got to study something if you really want to understand what it is you're looking at. And some people just don't care to study it. So, you know, so be it. You know, teach their own. Do you want to see that case?
It is said that every picture tells a story. The question is, what story? And whose story? Every object in the world is connected to someone's memory. One person's trash, another's treasure, they say. I think of my artifacts, the stuff that crowds my life. objects that will outlast me. And I wonder, where will all these things go once they've been torn from my mortal grasp? What will become of them? What strange journeys will my things take? Is there a psychic bond, a memory perhaps, attached to my things and the photos I've taken or taken of me that will carry forward long after I am gone? Does it matter? I wonder. But I'll leave it to the philosophers to chew on. Still, memory, like beauty, is really only